the waifus from the shows that we have seen so far. Let's get a feel for like what the ending poll is going to look like from our side of the fence. We got a first look at a Nike collab to make anime Naruto shoes. So that will be interesting to take a look at. I'm a huge sneaker fan myself. We'll have some words about those coming up, and then just a couple of little updates here and there. Damon Mills finally has spoken, and as opposed to going one way or the other, I want to say, what can we learn from that whole situation, and how can we be in a better place to avoid all that? Let's not go through that. Let's see how we can position ourselves and you know, take the lessons from somebody else's fall, so we can figure that out. If some wouldn't call it a fall, but we'll see. We'll do a little analysis on that post facto. So we will take any lessons from that we can. So wonderful time. We are running from the house today in the Chica cup because it's an adorable cup. And I enjoyed the sake that was in it, and now I have a cute cup. So now, hello, stream cup. Easy. I'm not drinking from those plain old things anymore. So here is my glass. Huzzah. And kampai. Love me the house. Let's start like we always do. Let's go to the Annie list. Let's talk about what we have seen since last time we were together. We have Healer Girl getting another episode. This show continues to be really good. Like a really good show. It is after reading the director's interview the other day and seeing like that they've got that history with G Gundam, and they've been around doing all this stuff, and you know, their goal to like make a song related anime that isn't just about girls singing, you know, your love lives and that kind of thing. And it isn't just, you know, songs in the background that happen to make something happen. That these songs are actually incorporated in the story, and it's actually like a musical. And it continues to be job well done. Job well done on that, indeed. Props. I could see this show not being super exciting for some people because it's at its core, it's people trying to go for their career and going through the tests and the licensing to make that happen, and that's going to appeal to a specific audience. I always enjoy that. I think it's a little more fun than the typical high school show that you see all the time. That's, I am going to be the best in the knitting club anime. And, you know, it's like, okay, cool. There's life after high school. So seeing the life after high school, seeing that it's in this interesting world where music somehow has medical powers, and then the songs just continue to be really good. They're diegetic. They're part of the actual show, which is a first and foremost for me when it comes to any kind of musical. You know, you watch like The Music Man, and when he's singing about the trombones and everything, that's all part of his pitch for the marching band for everybody to get into and get hooked on. And in Healer Girl, the songs that they're singing are them talking and bantering while they study. The songs that they're singing are the songs of healing that they're singing in order to you know, make someone feel better. And so like the songs are part of the show. I'm loving it. My wife was telling me she gets chills with each of the songs. They're really well done. The way that the visuals help build tension around the procedure isn't quite working out. Maybe we need to change something. We have to use this first, or they break into different sections. It's really, really well done. And any music theory majors out there would probably find this show very hilarious and also really fun. Medical professionals, maybe. I don't know if this will be for you, but anyone who likes that post high school, it's a let's learn a career, let's get that tech school going, let's actually learn a trade, sort of anime. So I am quite enjoying it. I think it's just fantastic overall. I started Date A Live, so that occurred. The 4th season is airing this season, and I figured that for maybe in the future I'll run like a Throwback Thursday show where I talk about some older anime, something that's come before. And when I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? I haven't seen Date A Live, and maybe a first watch perspective on like a throwback for like the 1st season, 2nd season, 3rd season might be kind of interesting. Plus, it'll get me caught up so that I can watch the new season and be aware of what's going on with that. It's interesting. It's definitely one of those. Well, this is just a reason to make a thing. Now it's gonna be a harem. Now they're gonna just do a thing. But it has like this weirdly compelling like story while still being like very boring on the top. So we'll see if I can get through it to do any kind of retrospective. But as of right now, I think the juxtaposition of the world could end, but this is a weird, your sister's a general and everything's you need to date these spirits in order to save the world is a very interesting juxtaposition if they pull it off. So we'll see. There's a cult behind it, so I imagine I might run into them at some point. Oh no, not Date A Live. Yeah, I've never seen it. We'll see. I could drop it, but if I can make it through, then that'll be something that we can talk about. Rising of the Shield Hero, Season 2, Episode 4. I mean, it's an episode of they made it to a cave. Like there is so little that occurred in this episode that it just kind of blows my mind how they can stretch out walking into a place, looking at a place, and then meeting some people. And it's like, wow. I thought we were done with the anime trope of like basically nothing happening in a show and it being like a 1 minute chunk of time being stretched into 24 minutes of anime. But this is not interesting. We got some backstory on our new teammate, and that was, okay, we're getting some backstory there. I don't know that it really fleshed out her character at all, though. It told us about her as opposed to us like understanding her. I still don't understand where the book smart thing comes from. I don't understand what the like real tie to the bow hero is, and then all of a sudden she's okay with being in the shield heroes party, and it I don't think it made her as interesting a character as they think it does. And we could use a little bit of a flashback shield hero. Like when you show us someone and you're like, Glaze or Glass, or I forgot even what her name is, and I just watched it a minute ago, which means I need a backstory or something. Give me a flash to at least a scene that we saw her in season 1. Like, give me something, because I'm watching, I'm like, I don't know who these people are. Okay, they're there now. And it is... If they end up going for like 3 seasons, 4 seasons of Shield Hero, like let's say they adapt everything, and it's just this really long ongoing series, I would be in the camp of like, skip this arc and let's not talk about it. But what we do need to talk about, what everyone needs to talk about, Birdie Wing Golf Girls Story Episode 4 was amazing. Amazing. We immediately deliver on the promise of get her into this game, and you can have her for your thing. And you're like, oh, what's the thing? What is she gonna have her for? So we watch the episode where she gets into the game, and then immediately after the game is boom, underground gambling. The mafia is tied into land contracts gambling, and they want to also own rights to the casino. And we're in the most advanced Topgolf facility of all time. It's a single giant facility where they hit a button and it freaking splits and moves. I mean, it is a a Ghibli-esque Steam Boy styled massive contraption that rearranges and recreates the golf course to whatever they want it to be, and they randomize a golf course, and there's going to be two golfers that are going against each other, and the rich people are up in the booth that are betting on who's going to win, and whoever wins gets the deed to the contract, and then they own all the casino royalties, and it's just like, oh my goodness, it's not about golf anymore. It never was, and I love it. Oh, I love it so much. We get crazy pilled Viper Girl who is just, I'm going to dominate you in the game and in the bed. And it's like, whoa, where are you coming from? Who made you like this? We have people that are better at golf for some reason or making you worse, and we have to figure out why. And then there's this whole mystery involved. Like, this is peak shonen anime. Like, it's so good. Oh my goodness. Birdie Wing. What, like, it needs to be rated higher. Every episode is just, oh, you thought that was good? Stakes raised. Oh, you thought that was good? Stakes raised. It's reminding me of something along like a kaiji, where you're just like, how can we get more diabolical with each step? And it's like, yeah. It's just fantastic. I am loving it. I worry a little bit that we're going to get a little bogged down with Aoi being the good girl. I'm just a clean golfer and I want to compete with golf, and Eve having to compete with her in such a way that it's like, oh, we have an episode now where they're just playing normal golf, or, you know, that it might take away from the mystery, that all the exciting parts are going to be anytime that Aoi's not on the screen. So I'm hoping that in some way, maybe Aoi's dad or mom or something gets her tied into the mafia business. Because I mean, the land they're in is like a fake land, so they're just like the miscellaneous mafia. But Aoi's from Japan, so like maybe she'll get tied up with Yakuza to get her brought in for the golf gambling as like a sleeper character. So I'm excited for it. I'm hesitant as far as like what the overall trajectory is going to be with the main duo's competition, but so far, great. So far, so great. That's what I'm going to say. I love Birdie Wing, and you should too. At least give it a try, even if it's not your thing. Okay. Moving right along, we had some more dubs and subs get moved from Funimation over to Crunchyroll. As of yesterday, Boogie Pop and Others, Conception, Fairy Tail, Steins Gate Zero, Talentless Nana sub and dub. So anyone who's, you know, they saw the announcement that Funimation's getting folded into Crunchyroll, and because Sony's, you know, doing what they need to do with their companies, and you went over to Crunchyroll and you're like, I can't watch the show that I was just watching on Funimation. How am I supposed to keep up with my animus? It looks like they're doing the transition a little bit slower. I'm not sure what they're basing it off of, like which ones go first, which ones go second. But they are continuing to update. So worry not if your favorite show still hasn't made it over. It will be there eventually, it looks like. That was just a little hey-ho. Now for a story that is an interesting... it's interesting when you think about it, because you so often think of the anime enjoyer, the otaku, as that nerdy person who just likes figures, and the person that likes shoes and basketball and all of that to just be, a jock, right? And there's just no truth to that. The walls have all been broken. They were broken long ago. Goku is probably one of the most rapped about fictional people in the world, and it continues on with the shoe game. So we have Zion Williamson teasing the Naruto Jordan brand collab. This was a week ago. Is that when this announcement went? Did they say? When were you written? Okay, 24th. So just a few days ago, they announced collab, and I'm like, all right, cool. Does anyone remember the Adidas collab with Dragon Ball Z? Let me pull this up. You're like, oh look, Adidas DBZ collab. That'll be cool. We could get some interesting shoes. And then you end up with this pile of garbage that they released. If you like it, you know, taste isn't everything, so I guess I won't hate you if you like the Adidas Dragon Ball Z collab. But really, are we looking at Adidas lineup and Adidas collabs in the past and saying, this is what they can do, this is what they should do, this is how they should have done the collab? They don't even have any NMDs in this collab. Like they're running the disrupt. Like nobody wants a disrupt, and you're just wrapping it in purple because Goku wears purple or Gohan wears purple. Like get out of here. That was such a garbage collab. And the reckoning cry for the Adidas collab was, this should have gone to Nike. Nike should have had this collab. Nike does better collabs. We could have had a better shoe if Nike had the collab. Because at the time when we're getting the Commanda Boo shoe, Nike's got all of their Off-White collabs. And the Off-White collabs are really interesting, really unique. Virgil really killing it with those collabs. Taking a shoe and really changing what the shoe is like. And I think people forget that when two companies are getting together to make a collaboration with properties or items that they own, that it's not somebody who's the unique designer, right? We don't have like the actual mangaka saying this is what shoe they would wear. We don't have the actual like I'm a designer who grew up on the streets and I want to design this shoe saying this is the shoe that I want to make if I could borrow a known silhouette. And so we're like blind to this idea, just thinking, oh, Nike will make a good shoe. And then Nike releases this. Now, I grant you, the Zion is not my favorite shoe. It's a funky shoe. It kind of reminds me of the Zoom Pegasus. But when you look at this, if it didn't tell you that's a Naruto shoe, would you know that that's a Naruto shoe? I don't see Naruto in this shoe. Interesting here, you know, we got the Naruto spiral and we've got opposite shoes, but it's just not Naruto. And then here we have the Ninetales, and it's like, okay, this is just a brushed red colorway. Like, there's nothing really Naruto about it other than like some of the little bit of kanji that you have scripted in there. And you're just like, oh no, Nike can't do a good collab either when it comes to people who want to do these shoes. Like, how can we get cool, interesting shoes? The secret is just send it to like Etsy. Like just pay somebody to make yourself like a collab shoe or like an interesting Nike or Adidas on Etsy, and send them your shoe and they'll draw it up or they'll cut it up, they'll do something. There's plenty of people that have talent and skill and want to put that together, but don't look to two major corporations coming to a handshake to actually come up with something that'll be really unique and interesting, especially when they give it to a designer whose shoe is still relatively new and they're still just trying to get their silhouette out there. They're not going to mess with their silhouette. They're not going to do something unique or interesting like the Sakai's or anything like that, where they add more or do something different. It's just going to be colors, because they're going to say, if I slap Naruto on it, that anime dork is going to buy it, and that's all I care about. So that is Nike's, and I am moving right along. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. All right, let's get into the waifus. I think that'll be more fun. More fun next. I already put out some predictions for spring 2022 for what I thought the waifu front would look like. That was sort of based on that first week of voting. Here it is. You know, I tweeted this out. Destiny Magahara, of course, from Love After World Domination. Menno from the Executioner. We had Eve, Yor, Hachimitsu from Shikimori. I put above Shikimori because I thought she was a little more interesting of a character. And then down farther, we had Ayame, Irina, blah, blah, blah. Raftalia, Carla, Ahara, and Son. And boom. Update. Let's, now that we've seen some stuff, let's we'll put it there. That'll work. Let's see what I think of this now. And I did names because I did this quickly. Because I'm degenerate who was watching anime before I had to get on here. But I know some that I'm gonna do right off the top. Reina, Aharen, not waifu material. Too lolly, too quiet. To like she's gonna get a dedicated fan base, and that dedicated fan base probably not gonna be anybody that wants to put her into a vote like this. Carla's a not. Carla the healer from Don't Hurt Me My Healer. She is not great. Not great, we'll say. I am not a fan on that front either. Ooh, excuse me. Raph. We're just hot washing these. Raftalia in this season has done very little other than say you should be a slave too and stab a turtle in the neck. That's some mid. That's some mid when it comes to anything in the waifu camp. We haven't seen her really interacting with the shield hero, but the series hasn't really been leading towards that. So I feel like because the series isn't really focusing on her and the shield hero right now, she's got to struggle as far as the waifu war goes. Just not gonna make it there. Shiho. Shiho from Tomodachi Game. F tier. Because that's the point. If you watch Tomodachi Game and you're like, you know, I got me a new waifu, and you pick Shiho, there's a place you should go, and it's not online to talk about your opinions. You should probably go outside and watch something that isn't that show. And on that same note, Yutori Kokonogi. Blap. Sorry, that Tomodachi Game, I grant you, is a show about not being friendly with each other, but I'm still throwing it in the F tier because they're just not. If you're pulling a waifu from that show, watch a different show. Oh my goodness. Who should we do next? Let's do Erica. She's the new one. So Erica from Couple of Cuckoos. We've got one episode. Buys random dude she met clothes so that she can pretend to have him be her boyfriend. Just put the whole show in F. Yeah, exactly. That show belongs there. Erica Amano, Couple of Cuckoos. She buys a random guy, bunch of clothes. They try to make some photos. They have this fun, practically a date day. And then she ends up going with the photo they accidentally took. as kind of stuck up and standoffish as she is in that beginning, he protects her because she has this sort of like sincerity to her, and I think it's going to come across more and more as we go through the show that even though she doesn't want to be tied down to somebody that her parents have promised because of all the circumstances, I think we're gonna see her. I'm putting her A tier right now, and we'll see. I think she's got the ability to step up into S tier. She's got a good mouth on her she talks back. She's quick. She's witted. She's in control. She's got money. And the guy talks back, and they banter, and we've got the start of like an interesting little relationship dynamic going on. For this season, she could jump into S tier potentially, but we'll have to hold off on that one. Hiro Segawa. Hiro Segawa. Sounds like a male protagonist name. But we've got one line from you, and that one line was not great. You're straight to F tier with that. I only want to date someone who's smarter than me. Oh, okay. But like only on that test? That's a weird thing to grade another human on. Oh, your test scores aren't good enough, so we can't be in love. All right. I mean, that's your prerogative, I guess, but that makes you a stone cold bitch, and I'm not sure that I understand why you're going to be this object of affection for the main guy. Yeah, not super happy about the crush idea. I think you can understand the crush. I think the crush has that bit of reality where he has this envy and this desire to be first, and there's this other person who beats him, and it's of the opposite sex, and they're in high school, so you got hormones raging, and you get that idea of like, I want that, and then I want that in your brain turns into I want her, and now you've got a crush built. And so I can understand the crush. I can see it as from like if I really break down the story to the utmost level that it's absolutely not read on the manga, but in between the pages of the manga, I can understand it. We'll see how it goes. If she opens up, is friendly, is nice, is kind, has friends, we don't know. We just don't know. But that first line, that first thing of like, who are you? Sorry, you're F tier. You're gonna sit there until you prove that you're not. Sachi Umino, probably the most emotive character in that show so far. She cares for him, doesn't want him to leave, and then is going to grow feelings for... I mean, this is how the story's going to go. Is going to grow feelings for him, and despite being raised as a sibling, it's going to be okay because they're not blood and all that, which makes it a weird one for the show. But I think her as a character, if we divorce her from the show, if we just take her as a character that is caring and also kind of snarky and has a lot of this going on. Plus, they're already animating her really well, especially when compared to the android boy. I can see her... story-wise, it's mid, because I'm not a fan of that. But it's also, like, I'm going to put her at the front of mid, just because she's right on that borderline of A if you were to remove her from that storyline. Your Forger. The only one of us who gets to gorilla grip them man titties. Sorry, man boobies, I believe was the direct quote. Yor is awesome as a character, but she lacks anything in that romantic department, in that couple department, in that, like... But she is very willing to help out and is taking care of the kid, and we see some sort of emotion there, but she also is very very standoffish. I'm going to put her in A tier, which I think a lot of people are going to say she's an S tier, but I don't see S tier yet. She starts developing feelings for Lloyd, and we start building that family a little bit tighter, then we can see her move into S tier. But so long as she just has this sort of help my fellow man mentality, I don't know that she's going to get to that S tier waifu position. Kaguya and Chika. Kaguya's mid. She just is. She just is. That show, to me, the show is mid too, so eat that. Chika, though, is gonna be a higher mid. Probably the highest mid, actually. Let's put Chika in the highest mid category because everybody loves the Chika dance. Period. Everybody. And that's all I have to say on that one. Kaguya is an interesting show. Shikimori! Oh. Until she gets a problem, she's mid. Until she has something she has to struggle to overcome, until we see her like actually being more than like a Stockholm syndrome generating protector of man-child, then she's gonna be sitting mid. We need to see more. We need, like, she's well drawn. I like the idea that she's sporty. I like a lot of that. S for Shikimori. S is how you spell Shikimori, but there's no way you put Shikimori in S. No way. You're pushing my buttons right now. Just thinking about that idea. I don't know that I'm gonna get someone in S, actually. I feel like I'm kind of oh, I guess we've got some S's coming. We'll be okay. We'll get to them. Oh my goodness. Comey. I really want to put Comey in not. You're the one that wants to get step. Hey, when you're like, oh, check out this manga, this is my favorite. I look it up and the first thing is a girl with a 16 pack, and I'm like, okay. I see what you're putting down. I just like that she's like Shikimori has more to her than just like a random girl who's good at thing. Like, don't read too far into that one. We can get stepped on later. We can find that later. Comey is hard for me because I'm not a fan of Comey personally. Is this my personal tier list? It's gotta be, right? Yeah, because I'm doing this. She's not bad. Like, she's not bad and she's not, because she is, and she has kind of a cute relationship. And she's earnest, like she wants something. And she's doing what she can to get it, as much as she struggles. Number 2. She's number 2 mid this season. She's number 2 mid, and I'm standing by that. I will stand by that. Irina Litzde Ulhaid. Ulhide, or how Hido. This show is garbage. Trash, if you will. But Irina is good. She's a fun character. She's an interesting character. I like that she's got the, you know, she's got the jealousy going on. She's got the friendship. She's strong, so she can hold her own. She looks out for friends. That right there. She looks out for friends and defends other people who are getting bullied. That right there puts her into that A tier, where she's going out of her way to make sure that other people are not being looked down upon or not being messed with. Like that sticks her up there. And stick with that same anime. This is here, let me pull it up. Let me pull up a little the Demon Lord reborn as a typical nobody. Here's our here's the waifus that we're looking at right now. So this is Irina. She's the elf girl, and she stands up for Ginny when Ginny's getting beat up because Ginny's a succubus. And then Ginny's like, you guys stood up for me, can we be friends? And like joins the friend group, but also wants to hold her own. So she's also like, I don't want you guys to be a burden on, oh, excuse me, let me just whack my mic just because I'm burping. I don't want to just be a nobody, so I want to help out too. So like Ginny's also, I'm gonna put Ginny high mid because she's not as good as Irina. She can't really hit that A tier because she hasn't been able to like really step out of the thanks for saving me role. But Ginny's got she's got the ability to step it up. I could see her coming up when we redo this at the end of the season. Aoi, Amawashe, and we'll do Eve at the same time. Eve is S tier. Period. Eve is getting deep and dirty with the underground mafioso of the great golf world that really I wish existed. And she's doing it to save the orphan kids and the bar that they have to pay off cops in order to stay in. She's got a heart. She's got the skills. She's paying the bills to make sure that everybody can survive and live the life they want. It's fantastic and it's beautiful. Eve is S tier this season. Aoi, mid. And she can hang out with Shikimori. They can be mid together. But it's golf? Okay. Hold up. But it's golf. But it's ping pong. But it's punching a dude. But it's anime always does things. But it's shoji with games and competitions where you're like, I don't care about this competition. But what changes it is what happens around the competition. This show would be just as good if they were playing darts, billiards, punching each other, doing car racing. It doesn't matter what the sport or the competition is. This show would be just as good because what we want to focus on each competition isn't the competition itself. You can get distracted by that, like, oh, they used the superpower golf swing. They used what is the stupid initial D line? Kansai drifto. When he's got this inertial drift going, it's like that's not even a real thing, but we get excited about it because we like car racing or we like, you know, this, that, or the other thing. But we really get excited about it because they have a special skill that steps up beyond like what we'd normally see in the story. Fruity Rainbow Rip Shop, yeah, blue bullet, load it and fire. But what is important is not that they're playing golf. If the game was roulette, it would be just as interesting. Because what we're looking at is the competition between the two people that are interacting. We're looking at somebody who is doing something raw, power, straight, massive muscle, do it, and skill and intrigue to make it work, or poison pills trying to cheat at the game, or whatever it may be. And so we get the back and forth between the two, right? Like, we're not interested in the fact that the A86 won. We are interested in the fact that they were able to use a unique skill that they built up and they learned in order to dip their tires into the gutter so that they could hook around a turn faster. That's what we're interested in. We want to see them kind of contemplate and figure out how they're going to win. That's why these shows, they take so much time relative to how much time actually passes, is because we were interested in what is actually happening and going on in their brains and what their thought process is doing and how they're coping with the fact that somebody else may be better at them in a skill, but how are they going to still pull it off? How are they going to take over? How are they going to make it work? It's not about golf. It's about the intrigue. Plus, we get that extra underlying story of, if she fails, if she wins, she's either going to be a sex slave for the next day, or some rich person gets a casino built in some place and we have more mafia ties they get to build, and maybe someone's going to lose a finger over a game of golf. Like, we get that extra little bit of intrigue and filler. Wherever you live, search up Topgolf, and if there's a Topgolf near you, go there. Go there. And if you're old enough, drink something and hit some golf balls. It's fun. It's fun to just whack a little white ball as far as you can. Oh, I love it. Love it. You say still golf, but like, I don't know, man. Underground, the mean streets of golf gambling have latched onto my heart. They've latched on and they've said, you got to do this. All right. The next on the list, Kaneko Matsukaze. Name might be a little unfamiliar because they just popped in on the second to most recent episode. Damon, the show that's just about sweets. You want to boil every show down to what it's just about. Kaneko is the ex-girlfriend of our main surrogate daddy character, which makes her now surrogate wife character, who shows up in town and immediately steps up and helps out at the retail shop and immediately takes over, making sure that the little girl is taken care of when she finds her lost. Really has some really good qualities about her. I don't see her really competing in anything. I think as an actual human, as a person that you'd want to interact with, she's probably in that A or S tier, just because of how like kind and interesting she is as like a human. But from an anime standpoint, I'm gonna have to put her in the high mid, just because she's not really that pivotal to the story. Like, this is going to end up being a story that's all about with this little girl who was abandoned and this guy who's just returned home, create that surrogate father-daughter relationship and move on from there. And I don't see that she's going to be really a big part of that, even though she's a very nice person, but I don't see her going very far. Let's skip. Go straight to Destiny Magahara. You're still my S tier. Love after world domination. Every episode I get, she continues to hit that S tier. Not only does she start out as like an antagonist who's against our main character, but she also, when they do finally start to go on a date and he takes her to the gym because he's like, yeah, girls like things that you do on a daily basis, and they go to the gym, she's all for it, and she's working out, she's pumping with him, like she's running in her high heels, and she's right there with him, even on something as silly as going to the gym on a date. He brings the power bars and she's like, oh, I'll get water because these things are kind of dry. Like, she's cute, she's invested, she's about it. And she's also not someone who can just be ignored, right? She's not just a bystander or a background character who gets walked over halfway through the show. Like, she is the the Shinigami Hime. She's the Reaper Princess. She is the evil team's like go-to big bad girl, and it's just fun all around. I am so enjoying this show. It's fantastic. Misaki Jinguji, aka Yellow Gelato, the Yellow Ranger from our Power Rangers show. She's A tier, and I'll tell you why she's A tier. It's not because in the opening cinematic, in the opening sequence, in the opening thing that she has a very interesting scene where we get to see her waking up. It's because she cares about her team. It's because she is looking at Fudo and she's saying, hey man, how you're trying to do this. She's teasing him at like an older sister kind of character. She's giving him the lip, but she's also helping him out and giving him actual advice. And she's trying to make sure that when he goes out to a place, she's sneaking around so that she can like, make sure that he's okay. Like she words it like she wants to see what's going on, but we all know that she really cares for him and she wants to take care of him. She's gonna be on the top of the list. She's gonna be up there. As far as this list goes, she's easily up there. Past Erica on A tier. Pink Ranger though. I don't know that we've seen enough Pink Ranger for me to have an opinion on that. Do you put Pink Ranger up there, or are you just guessing that Pink Ranger is going to go up there? I can't see Pink Ranger from Love After World Domination being on the list yet. At this point, if you stuck her on this list, I'd drop her into the not category, just because I haven't seen enough. She looks like the kid sister character, and I don't think you're going to get anything in that sort of like realistic waifu range. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be they're just there. If you've got argument against it, we'll see. Next episode, we'll see. This is not a done deal. When we save this, not a done deal. I'm not done adjusting my takes or adding people to it. We will update it, and we'll continue to grade as we go through the season, so that we can have our opinions out there. Arion Glenis Mayperu from Skeleton Knight, aka pink-haired dark elf, wants to take care of kids, fights well, is this is a hard one. This is a hard one for me. She has a lot of the traits that would move her into A tier, but we haven't seen enough of her for me to think that I can actually do that. But I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna put her at the lowest A tier because we haven't really seen too much of it. But the fact that she's fighting other people, or she's fighting slave traders to try to protect these little kids, she's initially confrontational to our Skeleton Knight, but she also listens when he starts talking with her, so we get that. So I'm gonna throw her an A. Skeleton Knight is different. Skeleton Knight is the counter to Overlord. Skeleton Knight is, hey, we've had the show where this guy gets reborn and he's a skeleton and he has this crazy power and he's the king of all evil and all of that. But I like the idea of the skeleton that is helping people with their grocery shopping. That he's this, as we've seen in the show so far, basically nigh omnipotent being that is able to one-shot a basilisk, that is able to use magic that other people can't use. Like he's all the hallmarks of OP crazy guy, but so far Skeleton Knight is sticking to I'm gonna make sure she's safe while she picks herbs, and I like that idea. I like that it's silly, it's fun. We can get to the seriousness of the story later when we get more into the sort of the political intrigue that you kind of see is coming later. But for right now, I like this little. Yeah, he doesn't want to be noticed. He doesn't want to be, too popular. He doesn't want people to see what he is or who he is. So he's just going to, be a skeleton bodyguard for a little girl who's going to pick some whatever herbs. And he's going to pick a task where he just defeats some brigands because the bandits are bad. Okay, and he's just gonna protect them. He's gonna protect the village and the walk path from the bandits. So, I'm enjoying it. I can see, as if you're like, oh, I wish it was Skeleton Man had a crazy power tower or anything like that. It's just not that. It's not that yet. I could see it taking a turn where it becomes that, but as of right now, no. And that's okay. We have that show. That show is Overlord. So if you want to see that show, watch Overlord. If you haven't seen Overlord, it's really good. And this show is the anti-Overlord. Olivia from Otome Game, which is also a pretty meh show so far, but has the hints that it could disrupt some tropes. Our friend Olivia is honestly F tier. Thought it was really slow. Yeah, the first episode took some time. I think the second episode where he actually is starting to take jobs and we're seeing him like moving around sort of saves it in my mind. Olivia from Otome Game is helpless and needs everybody else to do something. And we've got a hint that she's useful in like her healing powers, but she just isn't that interesting. I don't care about her backstory at all. Versus Angelica Redgrave from the same show, easy A tier waifu. Initially, she's starting out betrothed to a prince, so she's got some nobility behind her. She's an interesting character model. She is snappy, and it's interesting to see someone in a world that is run by women that is a woman, but also getting talked down to by the prince. So I think she's a much better waifu A overall. We'll see how that is. Otome Game main character. I'm fascinated by it because it has so many indications that they want to take it to a point where it will be so much more interesting of an Otome game that I'm ready for it. I want to hit the dungeon crawling more. I want to hit the turn-based battles in a spaceship. I want to get to that point where we've got the robots and everything that are hitting that next level. I think it'll be really fun and interesting. I like that the main guy hates the game, and I think that makes it more interesting because a lot of the games that people get stuck in, they're like, oh, this was my favorite game, or I played hours of this game and now I'm stuck in it, blah, blah, blah. He's stuck in a game that he hated, that he only played because his sister wanted him to. And there's some changes to it that are intriguing and all that. But even if those changes didn't occur, I'm liking the idea that he just hates it there. That he's like, gosh, I just want to not be here. Which doesn't really make sense from a story perspective, that he's able to go get that crazy ship, go ransack a bunch of dungeons, get a bunch of gold, and buy a chunk of land. And then he isn't able to just retire and be like, yeah, I got a bunch of gold and I got land and I got robot butler. Like, we'll be okay. He then has to go to the school in order to get someone to marry him. They could explain that a little bit more, where it's like he wants to continue owning his land, but somebody else is going to buy it, and they can buy it because they're a woman, because that's how this world works, is women have more power, so she can step in, and he doesn't have a woman that will help protect the title deed on his land. Like, we need something like that to tell me why he's trying to find a girl at the academy. If we had that, I'd be 100% this show is great. I want to keep watching it. But because that's not there, I just I'm not seeing it as far as his motivation to be there. But I love the fact that he hates the game, and I love the fact that he knows it so well. I have a friend that will get really invested into finishing and completing a game, but will also hate the game at the same time. And I just see him in this, and it's really funny to me, watching this character. Plus the voice actor in the dub. It's his first time taking a lead role, and he's having some fun with when you listen to it, you can tell he's having a lot of fun in the booth. He's having some really straight lines when he's just giving some of the narration, but when he gets to like complaining about the game, he plays games, so like you can hear the fact that he's complaining about the games. It's a pretty fun dub to listen to as well. Last on the list for today, Hort, or Hort, if you want to take a couple of the subs that I've written, or not written, that I've read. Holt is going up A tier. She's best in the class. She's got compassion that makes her want to help out and be friends with other people. She's always putting on a smile. We've got some sort of darker backstory that we've been kind of let in on. It's just overall her character design is really fun. I like the hair, especially with the hat and everything. Really fun design there. So I'm throwing her in A tier. She'd have to really do something mean to drop out of that. But that's how I'm gonna put it up for now. And that's how it will stay for now. I'm just gonna save this. Waifu. Save. All right, saved. Cool. Alrighty. Next. Let's get into this response. All right, so if you don't know, Damon Mills, the voice actor, does dub in America, was accused of sexual misconduct, of doing naughty bad things. And that is a no-no. That is a big bad. And you shouldn't do that if they're true. But these were allegations. Then his lawyer sent a cease and desist, and we have all of the fallout that comes from that. So he, after the allegations have been retracted, then tweets today and now has a bunch of stuff coming out. And I want to look at the lessons we can learn on how not to end up with a Kiwi Farms post that is pages long. 65 pages long on this thing. That's insane. Oh my goodness. Do I care what or if anything actually happened? Not really. Not really. It doesn't really directly affect me. And I don't think it should affect you necessarily. But there's some interesting things here that I think are important to take away. And the first thing is, don't have like a really strong take against someone online if you want your online persona to be something that can be used to help market yourself. If your goal is to get the most people to like you and the most people to think you're interesting and the most people to want to stick around and watch you and follow you and do and engage with whatever it is you do, you can't come out really for or really against something, because at some point, one of those two takes is going to backfire on you in a way that you can't really predict today, right? The reason that Damon Mills has 65 pages on kiwi farms is because he was so adamant in the kick Vic part of things. That grew to a point where then allegations come out against him. He says, believe all victims. And then he's like, no, don't believe my alleged victim. And now it comes out there. Whereas if you had said, if Vic did these things, then it would be bad. You've got to equivocate. You've got to really say, if this is true, sure, but only if someone asks you. If nobody asks you, don't say anything, because the only time that people really care when the opposite occurs is if you're vocal about the negative, right? If you're saying, no, we got to do this, no, we got to do that, no, we got to do this, no, we got to do that, and then the opposite happens and it comes at you, then it's immediately going to be this big like, whoa, look at you, you're not following the same thing you said. So don't immediately come out and say that. Now, most people aren't in a position where their Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything they do online is really that interesting to the point where what they say online is going to change. But here's the thing that we can take as a lesson. The attorney that represented him and sent the cease and desist wrote some things in that cease and desist about a consensual relationship. If you are getting an attorney to then write something on your behalf, whatever they write, you said. Now, I know you didn't technically say it, and sometimes your attorney will need to use language that you may not understand in order to tell have the proper format for the courts necessarily. But if your attorney does something, they are doing it on your behalf. They are doing it because of you. They are doing it on your word, on your authority. They have a fiduciary duty to you. So anything that they do reflects on you immediately. And their attorney came out a couple days ago and released a statement saying any language quoted from the cease and desist sent to Duncan was written by me and does not represent a statement from my client. Yes, the in the cease and desist, the lawyer said that there was a relationship that was consensual. Now, they did not admit that anything sexual happened. They did not admit that anything illegal happened. They did not admit to any of that. All they said that there was a relationship that was consensual, which if you have a friend, that's a consensual relationship. So if you have a lawyer that says, this is the definition of the word, this is what it means, but you're somebody who is online and you read that and you say, if you write this, someone's going to pull up this document and then they're going to see that and they're going to think that you mean a relationship that is like a sexual one was consensual. And that's not something I can have, because that document that they send out is your words. This lawyer saying it does not represent a statement from my client, that is full horseshit. I have the unfortunate favor of having had to have lawyers draft statements for me and have had to deal with things. And so this can happen to you. And the easiest way that this can happen to you is if you are in a car accident and you end up needing to use a lawyer in order to go after the other side's insurance company, because insurance companies don't want to pay out, because the only way insurance companies make money is by taking money in and not paying money out. And so you may need to get a lawyer in order to do that. And this is a very common thing, happens all the time in America. Anything that the lawyer you contract with in order to get that done, anything they do comes from you. Anything they write comes from you. Anything that they send comes from you. It is the equivalent of you doing this. And the same thing goes if you buy a house or sell a house. If you work with a real estate agent, they're also a fiduciary. Anything they do or say can be construed as being on your behalf, being coming from you. So if they go into a negotiation and they say, oh, well, we could do it for 600,000 or 300,000 or, whatever the negotiation is, if they say that, that's the equivalent of you saying that. So you need to be on top of whatever your lawyer says, because your lawyer should not come out and say, any language quoted from the cease and desist sent to Duncan was written by me and does not represent a statement from my client. To be clear, that language has been misinterpreted. Damon Mills has never had a romantic or sexual relationship with Duncan. The consensual relationship referred to in that legal document uses the words standard definition, a continued association between two people. In this case, a friendship. Damon vehemently denies any romantic relationship with Duncan, as well as the accusations made against him. Blah, blah, blah. That's your lawyer. Whatever your lawyer wants to send to somebody, you read it. You make sure that that is exactly what you would say, and especially nowadays, is something that you would want anyone to read. You have the ability to talk to your lawyer, and for that information to be protected. Like, whatever you send to your lawyer is not going to be leaked, shouldn't be leaked, and is privilege is what it's called. So you actually aren't like, if you're trying to get someone for something and they send it to their lawyer, you can't get that information because it's not public information for everybody. But as soon as you send a produced document to somebody else, now anyone can really go look at that and go see that. That is you're bringing in a third party. You're breaking all these different protections that you would typically have, and now people can read it. Now people can see it. So if you put something in a document, you might as well have said it, and the world is going to interpret that in the worst way possible. So when you come out months later so the person then retracts, and then you're silent for a while, and then your attorney comes out and says, this was misinterpreted, and then you post a thing that says, I've got to take some time off the internet because of all the crap that's been going on. It's like, yeah, maybe you should read it. Maybe you should make sure that whatever it is something you'd be willing to tell all of your best friends. Oh, it's baffling to me. Baffling that you'd have an actual lawyer come out and say that doesn't represent a statement from my client. It's like, what does it represent then? If your lawyer wrote something that doesn't represent what you would say, why did they write it? Oh, because this will work. This is the form document. This is the blah, 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 blah. Whoever this attorney is, like, they really need to understand how the internet works a little bit better, and maybe that'll just improve with time. That's something like I'm very conscious of. Even before I started this channel, was like, if I draft a document for someone, like let's say I'm got a Progressive or something doesn't want to pay me for after an accident or something like that, and we draft it, you should be conscious that whatever is drafted is you, because then that, there's complications here, but like, if your lawyer for whatever reason leaves, it's you versus them. So if your lawyer writes a bunch of things and then leaves, all that stuff is basically the equivalent of you having said that. So it's just, it's insane that someone would go to that point. What other lessons can we learn here? And I mean, it can happen to anybody. Anybody can end up needing a lawyer to write something or do something or say something. You never really think you will, but that doesn't change the fact that you might. So it's important to kind of understand how that works, and that, anything they do is going to be a reflection on you. And then if you can't handle being online, don't be online. Like, does the professional world that you're in require you to network on Twitter? Or do you network on Twitter because that's what the professional world you're in does? If you can't handle being online and you can't handle people saying bad things about you, don't be online. Get offline. Go somewhere else. You've got a career. You've got the phone numbers and emails of the people that you need to network with. I can tell you the people that are up a lot of chains don't sit on Twitter all day. The people that are paying the bills at a company are typically inundated with email to the point where they're not going to be sitting there tweeting. The only person that far up that tweets anything is going to be like Elon Musk, right? And he's like, oh, I'm just going to buy it. Then I'll tweet on it as an expense. I'll expense all the time that I spend on this website. And it's like, you don't need to be there. So we don't need a big I'm sorry, or what is this? I was devastated. Bad stuff happened. Wah. Bad stuff happens. Like people assuming everything was false, right? Which, you just to take that argument, like, don't pop back online and say, oh, my life, like, what are you doing? You should have some sort of friend group that you have phone numbers and emails of that you can like communicate with if it's really that big a deal. And if that friendship in that community is good enough, maybe they'll send you a little DoorDash milkshake. DoorDash milkshake would be a lot more meaningful to me than a bunch of likes or retweets. If someone was like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna take care. He's kind of in the dumps. He's going through a hard time. Let's send him a meal. That means 100 times more, a bajillion times more. It's infinitely more important to send somebody a meal than it is to like their post on Twitter. So if you really cared about somebody and what they were going through, then that would be what you do. So if you're going online for the likes and the retweets and I'm alive and I'm making it through. It's like, okay, who cares? Honestly, there wasn't, like, let's be fair, there really wasn't a huge change in their career. I feel like I almost immediately saw him in another show after the allegations came out, so it wasn't like anything really changed. So what's with the I've been devastated. It's like, well, maybe someone, if you had friends that were nice enough just to buy you a milkshake, you'd be happier. You'd be less devastated. But don't live only online. Have a community that is physical that you can interact with. I'm going longboarding next week with a friend that and go get a meal with somebody. If you're like tied down, like you're in another country, you don't speak the language, you're living in the boonies and it's just you in a cabin in the woods, sure, you don't really have like a good way to get out and friend group like that. But I think your in-person friends are very important if you can't handle the internet. Now, if you can handle the internet, get online, because online friends are real friends and they're fantastic. They say stuff nobody else would ever say, and it's hilarious and amazing. But expect it to be like that. And maybe that's just because I've been online for 20 years now. When did we get a computer? Maybe longer. Maybe longer. But a little bit of a shorter show tonight. And then again, no show on Friday. I've got a dinner date that I have to go on. So we'll meet up tomorrow for a fun day. Always enjoyable. Lots of shows come out, I feel, on like Wednesday that I can update on for Friday. So gonna be calling it short today, but don't call me short. I'm 6 foot. I can, not really that tall, but I feel tall because my wife is really short, so it works out. Have a wonderful night. I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go enjoy this shortened stream, get some sleep, and then get ready for this weekend. So you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I hope you enjoy a show, and I hope you find community around the things that you enjoy. Kanpai.